Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. I am on episode 126. It is Memorial Weekend. I wish everybody safe travels and that you have a great holiday. And today we are going to be coloring. I switched things around because the particular page that we are on, which I will show you, I think will work really well with a different professional set that I have not touched. So we are on this particular page. I don't know if you can see the whole thing because I have the camera set up to show the sharpening that I'm going to be doing. So this particular page is all nature, mushrooms, acorns, oak leaves, little flowers. Everything is very dainty, and these sets that I have left to work with are all the Chunky Monkey sets. So I've decided, because of the color tones in the Derwent drawing set, which there are only 24 colors of, and this is Mars Violet, I am going to use them. I have pulled them out. They are very beefy, and the only sharpener that I feel comfortable with sharpening them is the Doll 133 that I have right here. It allows you really good control of and not over sharpening. So I am going to show you how I use it. I pull it out while depressing the gray button. It works up to I believe 12 millimeter. So I'm gonna, normally this goes a little easier. So push it all the way in. This holds the pencil in place so that you are not trying to keep it straight. It does come with a keeper to be able to attach it to a desk, but I am of course sitting here in the recliner. So at this point I go about 2.5 rounds when they are about that dull. I just need to sharpen the ends up, and the reason why I have to sharpen them is because you saw how dainty the scene was. I hope I'm not going to regret my decision of using these, but look at how long the tip gets. And it's a little rough because I just am stopping it at about 2.5 turns. So I am sharpening all of them. There's only 24 in the set, and I have all but the grays out. I'm going to see if this works better. Nope, you have to press the button. And then these are made in England. They're by Derwent. They are Lightfast. And everybody loves these. See, now this one isn't quite to a tip yet that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and do one more turn. Press the gray button to release it, and that is what I want, because I do know I'm going to need these to be very sharp. I do have one red pencil. I'm not sure I'm going to use it. It is a luminance pencil that is red, pretty dark red, because there are apples, and I'm not sure if I'm going to feel like I need to use a true red. I might just keep the whole palette very muted and earthy. So if you don't have this sharpener, it has its place. It is a very safe, you can use it for all of your pencils. I'm just lazy and I will use the electric sharpener if I feel I can get away with it, but I am just not comfortable. I do not want to chew these lovely pencils up and waste any more pigment than I need to. So to put the pencil in, you depress the gray button to pull it out, and you also depress the gray button to put the pencil in, because there's you can see, let's see if I can get you to see in there. Maybe I'll show you without. Okay, so you can see that there's little keepers, and my jar link has the same mechanism. but you don't have to press a button with the jar link the way they've put that together. And we have a couple more left. But I thought it would be nice to show you. There's that one looking good. I'm going to pause. I'm going to finish the last 3 quickly and then bring you back in for the coloring. I am back. We have 24 colors for the Derwent drawing, and this is the color palette. I'm showing it sideways. Hopefully I can almost get every single color to show. The most popular color to use for drawing, nature drawing, is the Chinese white. The ivory black is really popular as well. I will be using as many of the colors as possible. Probably not a lot of these soft colors. I'm going to do the best I can to make the colors pop, and I will supplement with a few Lightfast colors, including, when I get to them, I have 2 reds and a couple of greens, 3 different greens to help round out the palette a little bit, but it is still going to be a muted palette. So I am going to start in with the apples. I have 2 colors chosen. They are both from Lightfast, Strawberry and Autumn. Autumn Red specifically. Strawberry is a little more orangey. It's a softer color. Both of these pencils feel very similar to me. I am doing the upside down half of the mirrored image. I'm sorry, it's going to look funny, but it is a full circle, sort of a circle mandala looking. And I'm going to do half of it today. I hope I can finish all of the half. I will try to do a sampling of all of the different colors. I am not sure how focused this is. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick test. I forgot to do that. So let's just see. That looks pretty focused. I meant to do that before we even started. So you can see that these are a pretty soft, this is again Lightfast, not drawing. They are not as dry. The Pablos and the Luminance are somewhat dry. You can hear both of them on the paper. And the Lightfast is a little softer. So this second color, this is the Autumn Red now. And I am just going to add some shadows. I don't think there is a dark gray. There isn't a dark gray. And the ivory black is too black. So we will see if I can just do shadows with a darker version of the color. But you can get some unwanted lines, like right here I have a line that I didn't intend to get. I tend to use light pressure and keep my hand fairly far back on the pencil, but sometimes I'll get a stray line like that, so we'll see. And then that line, but I can clean that up. We're back to strawberry. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do a background. If I did a background, it would be a sky. And I already have the closest to sky designated for a part of the, oops, and there went. Sometimes that happens. Okay, so now I've got the Chinese white. This is a popular white. Chinese white. It is on my black sample page of whites. It is the whitest white, I believe. Oop. And see, that was the tip. All right, so one of these fell down. The strawberry did not, so that's good. I'm doing a little blending on the lighter side. I still am using, because it's not my normal side, I've been using the upper left as my light source, just to stretch my brain a little bit. And I am swapping out the strawberry with the Chinese white, trying to get a nice finished look here with these little apples. So the reason why I decided to use this muted palette of the Derwent drawing on this image is that the image on the right is actually 4 images, and there's a couple of animals, a mushroom, and some seeds. They're the helicopter seeds. I can't remember what they are really called. Right, so we've got some apples somewhat done. I'm going to spend more time with them after I recover, probably on my own time, but I need to go get the autumn red. I like this particular apple and this apple because it gets pretty dark on this side. And that is, and then even these two are good. So a couple of them are not quite dark enough. There we go. Okay, next. Keep the Chinese white handy. I'm going to grab a brown for the very thin. I'm going to do multiples. I have a brown ochre, and then there's a color called chocolate. There's a sepia too. Here's chocolate. All right, so with these two colors, you can see how one is very bright, very light, and one is very dark. And then the Chinese white I'm going to set aside for the moment. And I want to come in here and just mix the two colors. I feel like this was probably a larger image that got shrunk down. I'll just focus on this one strand. I see it connects at either end with another part that is like the middle piece, and I will work on that when I do the other half. So I like to do branches and wood with multiple tones. This is too small for more than two, but I will be using these two colors as well, probably for the acorns. Oop, too much pressure. I was trying to keep them sharp for, this is the smallest element. Okay, so that's done. And I've got some I'm looking at my notes. I found out that acorns can be a very wide variety of colors. Okay, now we're going to grab the two blues. There's actually three. Solway blue, ink blue, and smoke blue, and I'm going to use ink blue and smoke blue on the flowers. We have 0 flower colors, no pinks, no purples, no real reds. There's like sanguine and terracotta and ruby earth. I am going to be using those in the mushrooms because they're very dark. That was smoke blue, and ink blue next will be where the petal connects to the middle. You know what? I can see that I did not hit all of these petals here. even have filigree in here. For many years, speaking, we're going to go, I'm going to go off track here to talk about Memorial Weekend. So Memorial Weekend and Labor Day weekend are like two really popular camping weekends. Same with 4th of July. And you get the weekend campers at the Thousand Trails, where we spent most of our time camping for the first 7 years that we traveled. And this will be our, I guess this is our third. So in 2022, for Memorial Weekend, we were renting here. We came in May and we were renting kind of an open-ended monthly rental. Hopefully to rent until we found something, which didn't quite work out because the guy rented it to somebody who needed the spot for the month of August. So we were here renting a pad and a port May, June, and July. So that was lovely to not have to figure out where we were and get our reservations, because to get the reservations, we have a 180-day advance. I think those flowers came out very nice, which is actually 6 months. So our first membership was only 120 days, so 4 months in advance. I'm now going to grab 2 Lightfast. This is turquoise green. The dark turquoise is the one that crumbled, so I can't use that one. So I am grabbing another color to be the dark peridot blue, and these 2 colors are going to fill in. There's these little raindrop like water droplets all throughout here, so I'm going to work on that. All right, so I can remember now in Florida it's not as busy in the summer. It's way busier in the high season, which is wintertime, November through March. However, in the summertime here in Florida, though, for those main holidays, you have weekend campers. So we were always pre-planning, deciding where we were going to be way in advance of being here. So it is so lovely to not have to pre-plan my Memorial Weekend or my 4th of July, because we are here in our home and no longer have to juggle campsites. All right, so I'm going to grab the darker color now. I would love to have used the dark turquoise. Peridot blue hopefully is going to give us, oh yeah, that's a nice brighter aqua color. These pretty much blend instantly when you put them. When you do the lay down, they just instantly blend. I have picked out 2 green tones again, lime, and then a more leafy, oh no, an olivey color, like a khaki. So we'll be working on that. soon. I think that's all the water. I wanted to do the oak leaves a little bit more fallish. Here is our lime. I have grass green. This is my short, this actually crumbled. This yellow ochre. Yep, yellow ochre. So those two, and then terracotta 6400. So these are the 3 tones, and I might add a 4th tone. And I just will be switching these in and out on the the oak leaves. So it is so nice to not have had to pre-plan. One of my favorite places in the summer back in Washington State is called Birch Bay Thousand Trails. And it has, we always take the front spot. Most people want to be back in the back. And we like to be right in the front. And they have usually music, a band that comes on the weekend of like the Saturday, the Friday. So we get to listen to the music. There's usually good bands in that neck of the woods, kind of blues, old rock. I have one other green that I pulled. Oh, I see a flower. I missed a flower on each side. And I need some green. Now, did I grab? That's strawberry. All right, so I did grab foliage. And foliage is probably going to work really well on some of these leaves, and then I still will probably also put them on the oak as well. I see apples used an awful lot in fall harvest stamp sets for making cards. So that's why, if you're wondering, well, why is she doing her oak leaves in fall colors? It's because of the apples. So there is sanguine, which I did not grab, and Mars orange. I will probably keep coloring, but I'm just going to mention that both of those colors might be nice additions to these leaves. So I will probably be grabbing them, but maybe not. All right, so this whole area is done except the acorns. And I have the grass green. There is olive green. Let's see, olive. Oh, it's called olive earth. And so it is a pretty dark, more on the khaki side of things. Just going to add a little bit. I have in my hand some greens. I think these might be peridot yellow. Okay. So for the moment, I am going to grab the grass green. This is the lighter green because there's these leaves that are attached to the flowers. How am I doing for time? I'm at about 30 minutes or so. What have we got here? Slight darkening of the base. We have all of the apple leaves as well. Let's see how, if we do this, I want to make sure these leaves are not the same color as the row of flower leaves. So I'm going to do mostly the peridot yellow. There's two peridots. There's a bluish tint peridot and this one, which is more of the yellow. Now let's see if I grab the grass green. Yep, I think those look sufficiently different. Going back to the peridot. Okay. Bob came home. He likes to work on our nature trail, and he does that every other day. He came home and he says, I'm going to take my nap. And that was pretty early for him. And I'm like, I am not ready for you yet. So he's like, okay, I'll go on a bike ride. So he went on a bike ride, and that woke him up. And while he was on the bike ride was when I did the starting video and talked about the change to the Derwent drawing set, and talked about sharpening them. Then he came back and he wasn't ready to lay down. So I had to stay busy doing some other prep for next week. I'm trying to get my Black Widow pencils ready. All the while, I am impatient to have him hurry up and go take his nap. So he finally settled down. All right, acorns, and we haven't even started the mushrooms yet. The mushrooms should go pretty fast, and the acorns as well. I have the acorns set to be, I'm looking for chocolate. Okay. Chocolate and brown ochre. Oh, I see. Actually, not chocolate. We'll do sepia. These all are very similar colors. So this is going to be the shadow side of the acorns. Which is, of course, not the side I chose to have the light source. All right. Warm earth. Here it is, warm earth. But I took pictures or looked up photos of acorns, and they come in all sorts of colors, from a reddish brown to this more yellowy brown. What do I have? Sepia is a red. I'm going to grab Chinese white. Okay, now the top of those acorns, and then I want to get some mushrooms done. Top of the acorns. You know, I could just be a rebel, and I'm grabbing chocolate. I'm just gonna pull the brown ochre to mix in with the top. Ew, I like that color for the, look at that. For the dying oak leaves. Okay, see this filigree? This will be a lovely color. I will bring in a couple of other tones to make that somewhat gold. I still have to add some browns into these oak leaves and burnish them. Okay, let's grab what I want to do with the mushrooms, because we need to finish that before I am done. Okay, mushrooms. Okay, we have 3 reddish colors. And I'm just going to be intermixing them. And that is ruby earth, Venetian red, and Mars violet. And you can see they're all kind of variations. And then light tones, a light tan or taupe color will be the dots, which vary. Big dots, little dots, and then these little capped mushrooms. And all of the bases will be the same. Grabbing the Venetian red. And they're so close. See that? One has a little more red, one has a little more brown. I feel like, oops, that was me pushing way too hard. These are a big, beefy, softer pigment. All right, so I am gonna grab this lovely putty color, Craig green is what it is called, and I thought that that would make nice light colored mushroom bases. This is me just blending out the front mushroom a little bit. And Mars violet. Okay, lots of work left on those. And then very final last thing I want to do, oops, is the fern. So we have these ferns. They should go really quick. We have these leaves as well. I will come back in with some darker colors. I do have glassine hiding here, and now I notice I'm coloring where my hand is rubbing on the images that have already been colored. These are not a messy, neither set appear to be very messy, aside from the tips breaking when I'm starting out. Okay. So that's as far as I have gotten, but I think I have colored one of everything. I will work more on all of the different elements. It's a little bit on the rough side. I knew that there was going to be a lot to this image, and depending on where I end up, I'll either decide not to spend any time on it. This is the Peridot Blue, Lightfast. Getting some variation in the colors. Or I might do a little bit more. I will see how I feel tonight about the progress and what the plan is for the images here on the right side. So that is it for my 45-minute color. I color every day except on Sunday. So hopefully you have enjoyed visiting. If you are visiting for the first time, welcome, and welcome back if you are returning. Be sure to do all of the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and consider subscribing, and we will do this all again tomorrow. See you then.